I just don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Don't say that. You know what you're doing.
I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what anything is anymore.
Don't say that.
I don't even understand life at all.
I'm ready to roll if you are.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start it. All right. Welcome to...
Oh, you've had it rolling the whole time.
The whole time, brother.
Wow.
I've had it rolling for the past 3 hours.
Wow.
I'm just going to cut the first 3 hours, you know?
That'd be a lot of...
Footage.
Well, it'd be a lot of storage used up, that's for sure.
That it would be.
Unused storage, really.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Well, I actually have no idea what it's like on the damn camera, but on the phone, whenever I recorded that one video, the first podcast that we ever did,
yep.
It's crazy that I even got it on video because, but the thing is that after, the reason that I didn't get any more is because it took up so much fucking storage.
Used like what, 120 some gigabytes?
Used it, yeah. Actually,
that's
no, it was like 150. Maybe even 160 gigabytes. Because I shot it in 4K at 60 frames per second.
Oh.
But the thing is, even on the phone,
damn,
it doesn't even, like, even if it is shot in 4K at 60 frames per second, it still doesn't shoot, it just still doesn't look as good as this camera or that camera because it's, because of the lens. Because of the lens and... Well, I mean, that one is not shooting in 4K. I think that camera shoots in 4K, but it's not in 60 frames per second.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think we're going right now in 60 frames per second, but in 1080p.
What do you think's more important, the frames per second or the definition of it?
Probably the frames per second, most definitely.
Because, like, if it was going 30 frames per second, if somebody was to move quickly on the podcast, it would be blurry. Like, it would be...
Yep. Exactly. That's how it is with my camera down there. I can shoot in 4K, but yeah, and it's going to take up a lot more storage, first of all, and second of all, it's not going to be as clear footage. It's not going to be, I mean, it's more high definition, but it's not. The focusing is not good. Actually, with my camera, it doesn't have autofocus exactly on it. Really.
Do you think that they have cameras out right now that can run 4K and 60 frames per second and it be like pretty good?
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Sadiq had one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, did you not? I'm pretty sure it was a smaller one. It looked like a newer camera. It was a smaller camera and it didn't have a...
You talking about when he had like all of the... There was like different frames up on the TV was like the monitor and he was like, there was an angle here, angle there.
Yeah.
You're telling me one of those was like a
I'm pretty
4K,
sure the one that was sitting right here, I'm pretty sure it looked like it because it looked like it had a damn filter on it, but it didn't have a filter on it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like that just looks like that's what that camera shoots at. And it looked like it shot like a Canon, but it was a Sony. Because usually the Canons have like more of a saturation to it or a more of a contrast to it.
Mm.
And it's able to catch colors better. It's able to catch reds and greens and usually just different tones of red, green, and kind of blue. But Sony's pick up better other colors, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know how a lot of it works. I just know whatever I need to know in order to fucking do whatever the hell I need to do.
You don't... Like, you know what you need to do, but you're not like, you don't know like 100 different types of cameras and their specs. You just know what the best one is, and that's because really in reality that's all you really need to know. You don't, unless you're doing something related in that field, like you have to know that stuff.
Exactly, and I feel like there's a lot of different things like that too. That there's certain things that you just need to know about certain things, but you don't need to know about everything. Like, I think that it's cool to have, like, just on the podcast, it's cool to have, like, a vast array of knowledge about certain things. But then there are certain things that we can get into that, of course, you may know more than me about, and then there's certain things that I may know more than you about, and that goes for, like, everybody.
Yeah, everybody is going to have that. Like, there's some things people are going to be more knowledgeable about than somebody else.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, there's like a saying that goes, I know a lot about a little, and I know little about a lot.
Yeah, and there's like you ever heard of there's like a jack of all trades,
but master of none.
I hate that. I hate the way that sounds, because I know that I like to do a whole bunch of different things, but it just sucks because I just know that even though me liking to do a whole bunch of different things, I really just feel like if I don't put my all into one of those things, I don't feel like that I'll master any of them, or I will, but it'll be super duper slow.
I don't know if there's enough time afforded to anybody to be able to be a master in like several different things.
Yeah, man, that's what's. And
then you ever seen like those people in Japan and like they work at a certain trade? They're being 90 years old and they're still doing the same thing. Yeah, like they could just be making maybe like a wooden part for a boat, or something, or they could be like making samurai swords.
Yeah,
but it takes years and years to get to that point.
Yeah, bro. I think that things like that is just like very masterful things. Of course, it does take a long time, but it just drains a lot of people. And see, with me personally, it just focusing on one thing in particular kind of just burns me out.
That might be ADHD or something.
It may be. I think so. I think I have a spritz of ADHD and autism.
Yeah, maybe. I might have something like that too, because studying like just today, I had to like kind of not get distracted.
And bro, a lot of it has to do with our phones. A lot of it.
Oh yeah, the phone.
Yeah,
it's like there's like a temptation to just like pick this thing up and get, especially like with like social media, just get on there and see what everybody's been up to.
Absolutely. And that's a big thing too. Like, that's why it's kind of hard for me to just focus on one thing as well. And I think that is one of the biggest contributors to it, is just growing up with just a whole bunch of technology and then instant gratification. And I used to watch a lot of fucking porn. So that kind of fucked me over too. Like, just at a young age, just growing up, just watching a whole bunch of porn
at your fingertips. That endless video games, endless porn.
Exactly.
Just
instant gratification all the time, constantly.
Yeah, stuff's not, and it takes you to get older to realize that how bad that stuff is.
Yeah, and it really fucks over my patience, because I try my best to be as patient as possible, and I think as a man you need emotional self-control, and I think that having a small amount of patience goes against emotional self-control, because I'll be wanting something and I'll be wanting it right the fuck now.
Yeah.
And then I don't get my mind off of it, and then whenever I do, like, I'm just upset because I can't have whatever the fuck that I want to have right now if I can't have it now.
Yeah. There was like a video I was watching from somebody called Psych Hacks.
Uh-huh.
Have you heard of them?
I don't know. I'd probably have to...
Something O'Brien.
I don't know. I'd probably have to see what...
Matter of fact, I was watching one of his videos before I came over here, but it was a different one. But anyways, what I was going to bring up was like, wanting something is cheap. You can want something a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But most people don't want to put the effort in to actually get it. And what his basic subject was talking about was, a lot of times in order to win, you have to overpay for something.
Mm-hmm.
Because that means, you got whatever it is that you wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
But everybody else looked at it and said it wasn't worth that amount, and maybe they were right. When it comes to putting in the effort and time for something. But if you want to win, the best strategy is to overpay in your time and in your effort, and even monetarily. But he was talking about how there's a lot of people who they want something, but like I said, they won't pay in the form of time or money to get it.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, they won't sacrifice what they need to in order to have what they want. They won't sacrifice their time in the present to get what they want to in the future. Mm-hmm. And that makes total fucking sense. It really, really does. I didn't know where you was going with that at first, but then I
had a little bit of a hard time because I just watched the video. Well, I watched the video like a few days ago, so it wasn't like still fresh in my head. It was a little bit diluted.
Yeah, I also, speaking on that, I'll come back to what we was just talking about, but speaking on what you just said right there is, I think I read, in some book, I read that there was a study done on college kids that were studying for an exam, and the study was, just an exam, it was like a fake exam, but just something that they had to study on. So they had half of the group, they had two separate groups. Half of the group studied the night before, and then the other half of the group studied an hour before the test. And then they put them against one another to see how they did. And it turns out the kids that studied an hour before the test did way better than the kids that studied the night before. Which is crazy because whenever you're in school, you hear a bunch of teachers and, the rule is you study the night before. Or you keep on studying throughout the week. But then whenever it comes down to it, studying an hour before is better if you're going to go take the test right then. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was crazy. But it also showed that the kids that studied consistently, both did way better as well. Yeah. Did way better than all of them.
It might be like repetition in that case then, because I'm sure they probably were going over the same material more than once.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I have to. I can't. I'm not able to just. Speaking from personal experience, I can't just go study for something and then pass it the first time. Most of the time I have to do it several times.
Yeah.
And I have to ingrain it into my memory through repetition over and over again. And I'm actually going through that right now as we speak. Uh-huh. This is like the real estate school thing, like going back and doing it again and again and again. And I was having a discussion with one of the students in there, and I was breaking it down to him, and it was like this. It's like, every time I do this, it's like each time I leave here, I have a couple more pieces to this puzzle, of this jigsaw puzzle I'm trying to fix.
Yeah.
And so when I start this class again, everybody, the people that have come here for the first time, they have no pieces of the jigsaw puzzle put together. But me, I remember some of the stuff, so I'm starting off with like a quarter of the jigsaw puzzle already put together.
Yeah.
I'm just here to get the other 3/4. That way I can pass. So for me, doing this repeatedly is going to be the only way I can pass. You know what I'm saying? Like just that repetition, doing it over and over again. So I'm very comfortable with failing, is so long as I can see that I'm making improvements each time, and I am. And I'm only off by like a few percentage points right now. So I just need to improve by that much, and then I'll be okay.
Yeah, bro. It takes a while. A lot of times it does take a while to. I mean, it depends, and it differs from person to person as well.
Yeah, there are some students like I have seen, because I have taken the class. This will be the third time. There are some students that are like very, they comprehend it a lot easier, and so like you can kind of tell from the beginning of the class who's going to pass the first time. I've already got an idea of like somebody who I think is going to pass the first time, just because they're so like they're on top of it in a sense, and then you have other people who are like kind of like me. They're like, what the fuck does this mean? You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, look, back in July I was saying the same thing. And when Cam was taking those classes with me too, I know this is like a complete sidebar topic. Like we're going on a whole ass adventure here with this, but when I was taking those classes with Cam, there was people that were in there that had forget his name, but it was his third time, right? Which is now my third time. And he was sitting there, and he was like, he looked like he was. everybody else is like, yeah, we're gonna get it the first time. We're gonna get it first time. And then this guy was over. He was like, in reality, like, it's like, yeah, just do your homework, just study.
Do your homework.
Do your homework, study.
Yeah.
And Cam was like, how many times you took in this? He said, this is my third time.
Bro.
And he said he missed it by 1 percentage point.
Bro, you remember me telling you before you started those classes? I was like, because I told you that I was going to actually have it written down before you ever told me that you was going to take those classes. I have it written down in my old journal that I had it in my plans to go and take the class.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did a bunch of research on it before. I don't know if you remember me telling you this, but I remember.
I remember you talking about it.
I remember the lady that I kept on watching because I planned on passing it the first time by getting the book before I even started the class and reading the whole book, the whatever is mandatory in that class at that time. And I planned on reading the whole book before I started the class so that I already knew whatever was in there. And then I started to do more and more and more research about it. And I found out that that lady said that most people, 80%, won't pass. Actually, no. It was like 90-some% that won't pass the first time. And then the number starts going down as they start taking the test more and more. Because it starts to weed out the people that aren't really passionate about it and don't really want to do it as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, my teacher, I don't know how many times she took the class, but I do know how many times she took the test that comes after the class.
Mm-hmm.
So this test, the class test, gives you a code which will grant you the permission to take the actual state and national exam, which is a 2-part exam.
Yeah.
She took the state and national exam 6 times. So
yeah,
that was after she passed
wild.
this class. And then there's another test after those 2 tests.
Yeah.
And that is to become associated with the NRA.
So you
NAR,
like
which is
pre-licensings and then your license.
Well,
test for your license.
So after I passed the state and then national exam, you become a provisional broker, but you have an inactive license until you hang your license with a brokerage.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be working for my family, my mother. Well, she has gotten more credentials. She's held to a higher ethics standard because she is associated with realtors. She is a realtor. Okay, so all realtors are brokers, but not all brokers are realtors. So you become a broker, and then you go up to an even higher level, which is a realtor. And to be able to work for her firm, I have to become a realtor, which means even after I do all of this, I have another class ahead of me.
And then you got 10 more, and then 20 more, and then 50 more.
Yeah, you actually do. So I become a provisional broker, and then even after I become a realtor, I still have 3 more classes I have to do to become a non-provisional broker.
Welcome to the rabbit hole.
Yeah. It's like a
fucking
it's like you got a list.
Yeah.
You think of like ranks in the military.
And you got to check that shit off.
You have to check it off down
one by one by one by one.
Mm-hmm.
By one by one.
Yeah.
By one by one.
Yeah. So like even after this I take post-licensing classes, which that school does offer.
Oh shit.
Post-licensing class 301, 302, 303.
Yeah.
And then I'll be done with that, and then I will have to start doing these things called CEs, which are called continuing educations. Now the first year I won't have to do it because in their mind I'm supposed to be going to do my post-licensing classes. I'll probably be doing this, and I'll be doing my realtor classes. This is after the state national exam, remind you. Yeah. And then after that's done, then it will just be doing my CEs, which is only like, I think 8 hours a year, which is not bad. It's like one day. Yeah. But you have North Carolina is, I think, the second hardest state to become a real estate agent.
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah. There's a lady in my class that's from Kentucky, and she's been selling real estate for about 20 years. And she's coming over. She moved here because her family is in Charlotte, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's talking about how things are very weird here, how they do it with like the real estate. How the only state that you're really known for being a broker is here. So it's like a very...
What do they call it in every other state?
Just like an agent, real estate agent.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I gotta text Sierra and tell her to bring me some fucking honey mustard.
I'm surprised you don't have any here.
No, bro, I do, but I have to have specifically cookout honey mustard.
From the back?
Maybe.
Ask them if they got it from the back.
No,
do they not?
The last time
have it anymore from the back?
The last time I actually talked to them and tried to get them to give me some honey mustard from the back, they said that
at gunpoint.
Yeah, they held me at gunpoint and told me to give them all of my fucking money and shit like that. And I was like, no, I ain't gonna fucking my fucking money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And while they were distracted, you pulled your gun out and held them up.
Yep. And then I took all their fucking money
from all the honey
from
mustard
everyone.
From the back.
Yep. Yep. That's right.
Now they know who you are.
Now they know who I am. So you fucking got me.
Now you gotta send Sierra out to go get it.
You got me.
So now she's the one that's gonna be held up at gunpoint.
Hey.
Yeah.
You got me. You fucking got me. I'm right here. You fucking got me. You know what the fuck I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyways, I remember we was talking about, I said that we should go back to it because we went off on a long ass fucking tangent of bullshit. And we was talking about, this is a memory test right here. I'm testing my memory out. We was talking about, you know what I'm saying? We was talking about the goddamn, fuck. We was talking about motherfucking attention span. Yep, being on the phone.
You lost me. What were you talking about?
See, that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm fucking. I know.
If I wasn't on my phone as fuck. See, and I'm to the point now where I don't consume as much content. The only content that I consume on there is to just laugh at. You know what I'm saying? Like some memes. Yeah. Like I'll look at some memes. I whenever I catch myself being on there for over 10 minutes, I'm like, God damn, I gotta stop.
Yeah,
every single time I get scrolling on there.
You'll be scrolling, you're like, I gotta stop looking at this.
Like I'll literally be in the middle of doing something, and then I'll grab my phone, and then I'm doing something on my phone productive. I'm actually doing something productive because I'm trying to get to the point where I'm only on my phone to do something productive. Mm. But also, I don't think that it's that bad to have a laugh every now and then. It's just bad whenever you're sitting there on your fucking phone and just scrolling
for like an hour.
I fucking do that, brother.
What is the point of that?
I try not to, but I just get sucked the fuck in because they make these phones so addictive.
It's a damn trap.
The damn social media companies and shit make the shit so addictive, brother. They do. And then in that book that I was just telling you about, it's fucking deep. It's deep. Like whenever it comes to the money part and then them funneling money to get themselves more and more and more money and more views and shit, because that's how their money comes from, because they get more views, then they get more advertisers. They get more advertisers, they get more money.
Based off money and stuff.
It's just funneling in there. So it's very, very crazy, and it gets to the point where it's contradicting brother.
And another thing too, I think, is like, it's the middle of winter right now, so there's like nothing to go do really outside.
Yeah,
that's one thing. I like, if it was, this kind of relates to what you're saying, but if it was summertime right now, you wouldn't really have to be so like cooped up in here looking at the phone so much, because you could go out, you go swim, you could go hike, you could go do a lot more things.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But
I know exactly
that's the only thing I don't like about wintertime, is that it really, you can't be outside chilling, out in nature and going and enjoying.
Oh, yeah.
Like today I tried to just go out and chill by the pool.
Cold as fuck.
Because it was so fucking cold.
Yeah.
And so I got on my phone
Yeah.
And I started scrolling my phone.
Why in the middle of you studying?
In the middle of me studying, I was like, man, it's so cold I can't concentrate. Listen, what time is it? And I started looking at my phone.
And then you're like, you better look at these fucking memes.
Yeah. And
these memes are going to go away. You better look at them now.
They expire.
So you have to look at them. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way I do it. I stay on my phone 24/7 constantly. And I really try to... Yeah, I really actually do. It's a fucking joke. It's a fucking joke. But it's not a joke, and it's fucking serious.
Makes you feel like a joke.
I'm on my phone constantly just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And I'm finding funny shit. I'm finding hilarious shit.
It never ends. There's never an end of the funny
shit.
And
I'm like, maybe I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Maybe you'll get to one that's not
funny.
And then you keep finding funnier ones.
And my algorithm is so fucked up on there.
Bro,
there's people fucking dying. I see on my fucking Instagram, I go through on my Instagram and my algorithm is so fucked. I see people dying on there. Next one, fucking complete racism. The next one.
Wait, let's explain how does it get to that point.
And then the next one is... Oh God. It's fucking disabled people.
No.
And then the next one is fucking a comedian talking about all the fucking above. And then I got the next one.
About like the entire countries fighting each other over and then some religious
And then
shit.
I got next one, complete politics. And then I got the next one is talking about God. And then the next one is, brother, the whole shit is fucked up, but it's hilarious. Everything's funny. It's all funny.
It's outrageously funny.
It's all outrageously funny until I'm sitting there scrolling for fucking 20 hours, and I just get out of bed, and I haven't got out of bed all goddamn day.
That's the problem. That's something I struggle with. Is like, when my alarm goes off, dude,
you start scrolling.
I grab my phone, I turn the alarm off. I'm
go to Instagram.
Let's see what's going on today.
See what's funny on the app today.
The first thing I do is laugh in the morning.
Yo, God,
some, damn memes, man.
Them damn fucking memes, dude. They scroll you in every time, and it's not the memes either. And most of them aren't even memes. It's people, actual real people, like the disabled people. That's real. It's real. And it's not us laughing at the disabled people. We ain't. We're laughing at the comments.
Oh yeah, no.
No, we're laughing at the comments that are talking about it.
Terrific.
They're horrendous. They're terrifyingly terrible.
I always see the same comment on that sort of
stuff. I
feel
bad.
This is the wrong place to be posting this sort of stuff.
I feel bad.
Remember that one I showed you the other day?
I remember all of them, brother.
Look, the one where it was like, I'm proud of you.
And and you look at it and you're like, damn, these people are disabled. And we shouldn't be making fun of them. We really shouldn't. And it's not that we're making fun of them. And we're like, damn,
look, man, we're making fun of them.
No, they're not. I'm not laughing at them.
Bro,
I'm laughing with them.
Look.
I like people that can make fun of whatever the fuck.
This part out. You know what I'm saying? Because you trying to explain you're not laughing at, because I'm laughing at you.
Why can't they laugh with us? I'm sure that we say something that people. I'm sure that we look funny in some sort of way.
Yeah,
I'm going. Look, you can laugh at me. I'm a ginger and I'm going bald. My shit's. Hey,
I'm a Jew.
My shit's getting pushed back, dog. My fucking hairline's getting pushed back. I'm growing my hair out right now because I will be bald in the future.
That's all right.
You can make fun of me. It's okay. I will laugh with you. I swear to God, I'll laugh with you. I promise. I don't mean to make everything a little fucking jokey joke and all that, but
people need to stop being so sensitive.
They need to stop being so sensitive, man.
They need to get a backbone, you know.
They need to get a backbone. I love it whenever I'm on Instagram and I'm seeing something hilarious. And then I go through the fucking comments, and then there's a guy or a gal, and then they're like, y'all are so insensitive, and y'all are so terrible people. And then I love it whenever
they're like holier than thou type of attitude.
Yeah, but the thing is that they comment that, and then it goes to the top of the comments because of the comment under it that somebody had commented under them, and they're like, get off the fucking platform, dumbass.
Yeah.
Or they say some crazy shit like that, and it's fucking awesome. It's hilarious. It really is. It's really, really cool.
Instagram is like a cool social experiment. It's just...
It really is.
It lets you know... It's kind of like a reflection of the real world.
And then it really fucking is. Yeah, I think that people should be more truthful. I think people need to get bullied again.
Yeah, that was a good thing.
That was a good thing. Look, whenever people got bullied,
you'd have like a villain arc at that point. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And I think at this point, there's going to be people. You know what? Fuck it. I see people all the time disliking the fucking videos and shit. Well, not all the time, honestly, because we really get way more likes than we get dislikes on the fucking podcast and shit.
I mean,
but whenever you see people fucking disliking the shit, I mean, shout out to y'all. Shout the fuck out to y'all, because y'all were the reason that we're growing. Because while we're sitting here talking shit and we're actually being productive, you're talking shit at the dinner table. And not being productive.
They're just like dust. I don't pay attention to them.
Crumbs.
Yeah, crumbs.
Hey, but what we need to do is stay off of the Instagram. Whenever.
Oh, yeah. Vast majority of the time, stay away from it. That's
as much as possible. But
I use Instagram like I used to use iFunny. I just jump on there for a few minutes to laugh, and then
you get some fucking giggles out of it.
Get some laughs. Get some send some cool stuff to my friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. And I think that gets in the way too.
Get on to the rest of my day.
I think that gets on. It's a hard line to tote too, because especially doing the podcast, we get on Instagram and shit, or just social media in general.
Well, you do a lot because you have to post a lot of stuff.
I post a lot of shit, and I try to too, just to stay updated and shit. Because whenever I look at somebody's Instagram, especially whenever somebody is saying that they're doing something big, like, why are you not promoting it? Like, I understand promoting this shit in real life and also promoting it in the social media realm. But also, it's like a toting a thin line too. Whenever I'm trying to be like in the public eye, if you would, I wouldn't say that I'm trying to be famous, but because I don't like that term. I wouldn't like to be famous. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would. I like to be.
Well, it definitely would drive a lot more traffic,
and I understand that too. That's why I'm constantly.
Yeah, I agree with you. The only benefit to that would really be to be able to drive traffic towards a certain product. There's a lot of really. There's gonna be people coming after you.
For sure, dude.
So make sure you got enough money saved up for attorneys and lawyers.
I try not to. I don't like to think about it, because I don't like to be like, yeah, I'm gonna be fucking famous and shit. Like, I really don't like to think about it, because I really don't want to be famous. I really don't. I just want to be able to do what I like to do for a living, and that is speak. I like to speak, and I like to talk. And I'm not about to sit here and go on a fucking rant about what my goals are and what I plan on to accomplish. I'm just saying that there is a possibility in the future of me gaining a large amount of popularity. And that's a possibility in the future. I do not wish that upon myself, but I do see it in the near future, possibly. And I think that it should come with a large amount of preparation. Because mindset too, because if people do gain a lot of money, and then they gain a lot of publicity, and then they disconnect from reality, and then they also disconnect from their morals and values that got them to where they needed to go to begin with. Just be careful. Yeah, like the people-pleasing thing. That's why I also brought up the people that dislike the shit. Because I understand. I'm not, I don't give a fuck that people dislike the shit. I mean,
like I said, I want to pay attention. It does it. you're reading that book, 48 Laws of Power, right?
Yeah.
And I went over, there was a rule, because I've been going over it too.
Yeah.
And I'm getting close to being done.
It's like the second time I'm going through it.
Yeah, same. But there was a rule where it said, people who are like that, it's best to just like not even trying to understand where they're coming from, because it's not even, it really, if you're offending them, really, it's not just you. It's a series of offenses from other people too.
Yeah.
And so all you've done is brought that emotion up to the surface. And so, don't take it personally. You just need to like disdain them and just avoid, because they're poisonous.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Don't even try and.
I would like to
be around them. And I'm talking about like not people like on dislikes, but I'm talking about people in real life. That
yeah. Most definitely, for sure.
Because what would happen, like you said, that if at some point it would only make logical sense that as long as you continue to do this, that you will continue to gain traction, and you like people are going to get to know you more and more, and then there will eventually be people that are maybe more not really necessarily close to you, but maybe like associates that will become envious, and you're going to have to be able to distance yourself from them.
Most definitely,
or
for sure.
They might try and look at it as an opportunity to try and slander you in an attempt to bring attention to themselves for some sort of gain,
or just bring you down to their level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for sure. I can definitely see that shit for sure, especially around here.
Yeah.
Because people get envious quick. They will get envious really, really quick, for sure. And going back to like the people that dislike you, I think that there's also a factor in it too, that if you try to adapt yourself to those people too, you in a sense become disingenuous. Like, and I it's hard to catch yourself too, because that's why it's good to have a good mindset before you decide to take the steps to become more successful, if you would, in certain realms, because people will try to sway you into, like you said, they'll try to bring you down in certain ways, and that'll be in negative energy. And I also believe that within that sort of realm, people can kind of get mixed up with people can kind of get mixed up with their values and what it took for them to become successful to begin with, and then it'll kind of start getting misconstrued, because I'm getting kind of slow at like getting out these words, because I'm thinking in real time. Like these ideas are just like new ideas that I'm actually having now, because I'm thinking in real time. So I'm just thinking out loud. And so like people will try to bring, and I don't like because I really don't like thinking about the idea of being very successful, because I don't like it from a standpoint of just a regular person, from the standpoint of, because I'm always, like I always say, whenever I see a famous person or a person that is perceived to be famous, because I don't really think that famous people are of any sort of value whenever it comes to a human being, because a human being is a human being regardless. That's the way that I look at it. So whenever I talk about success, I don't want it to seem like that I am better in any sort of way, even though there are certain aspects of other people that are famous that are, to a sense, better than other people, or else they wouldn't be famous.
Better at acting.
Better at a certain type of thing.
Like a movie star would probably be better at acting than...
Exactly.
Like a famous movie star would probably be better at acting than a famous streamer is, and a famous streamer would probably be better at streaming than a famous actor.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
exactly.
You have famous people who are in sports, and you have famous people who, you know, in a completely different sport.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to go up to a famous person and have my phone in my hand trying to take a picture of them so I can show everybody. Like, because at the end of the day,
somebody would do that, though.
I do understand that. I completely do understand that.
There are some people who would look at that and be like, think of that as social proof.
Social proof, and it's kind of try to get themselves out there to have a sort of social status because they met somebody famous. So then they're going and telling their people back at home, hey, I met somebody famous. So,
well, maybe not even in the sense of like telling them, but just making a post about it, you know?
Oh, yeah. Just that
like,
too.
Yeah, like this is so, like this person here, and then like the other person's sitting on like the same sofa or something. They're all just chilling, having a good time.
Yeah.
It just so happens that one of them's like a famous rapper or something.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and I could see why that would be, to a lot of people, important to them for some, like, because they're trying to raise their status, like their social proof in a sense. Like, like I can understand why they would do that. Yeah,
for sure. But at the end of the day, like, they may be a worse person than you are. You know what I'm saying? But we're glorifying as a person, but we're glorifying this person because they have some sort of amount of success that you don't. So that's why we're glorifying them. And some sort of, or not we, but just as society as a whole is glorifying them and kind of putting them on a pedestal for some reason.
Because other people have decided to.
That's like there's a lot of say famous women nowadays just because of Instagram and just because they look hot, you know. And I don't think that they have no sort of skill, they have no sort of anything in particular to make them rise to some sort of status besides their look, which is, and here we get into the fucking conversation of like men and women, but that's a different conversation. Is their looks. Absolutely, and I'm not gonna treat them any.
But that doesn't mean that they're like a morally good person.
Exactly, like I'm not gonna treat them any different. I'm not gonna treat a hot girl any different than I would treat like an ugly girl.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna treat a woman different than I'm gonna treat a man. And and speaking on that too, I do catch myself and I do realize that I think that it is also good that people kind of switch up their personality in a sense of who they're talking to. It's a there's a sort of etiquette to it, because I notice. And this is also me thinking in real time too, because I think that we're having a conversation here. This is awesome because we're having a conversation really that I don't really have that often, you know, because you really can't have certain conversations with certain people like what we're about to talk about. Because I noticed that whenever especially doing the podcast and shit, I am more energetic around certain other people that are more energetic and
that want to have a good time.
And
let's have fun.
Let's not have a serious conversation. Yeah. And which is fine, depending on, you know, what kind of person that they want to. I mean, that really doesn't matter. Whatever they want to do is whatever they want to do. Like, whenever we're doing this podcast, it's to have content, and it's also to have, like, just conversations just in general, you know? Like, we're having a conversation right now, and we are learning in real time about whatever the fuck that we're talking about, and we're bouncing ideas back and forth, and other people are able to hear it as well. But with that being said, too, is that we are also getting information out of each other and pushing each other to an extent of learning too, while we're bouncing ideas back and forth, even though that it may not be something that we are completely aware of. That's why we're talking, to make it more, you know, bring it more into light. And I don't know if I'm using the correct words for this because we're getting kind of deep into this, and I may be going on a little fucking rant. But I'm trying not to lose my train of thought here. like whenever you're interacting with certain people, sometimes people change who they are, and they will change their character. And this is kind of getting sticky, like I said, because I kind of don't know the words to fit it, because there is like different there's fine words whenever you start talking about stuff like this, like because you change your character and you change your personality. I think your character should be something that you should never change, but your personality in that moment possibly could be changed based on who you're talking to, because it's based off of their personality as well.
Like a persona?
Like a persona, if you would. Like whenever I'm around somebody and they think differently than me, because everybody does think differently than me, and people will change who they are on a character level because they believe that the person that they're talking to is of a different stature. So then they believe that they have to change their character. So then they will essentially kind of switch up their morals, because their morals and values are connected to their character, but not completely to their personality. Their character may make their personality, but I believe that people who know how to talk to people will also change their personality whenever they are around other people of a different stature, but they won't change their character. Like salesmen, right? Whenever you see somebody that are selling, usually because more salesmen are more eccentric, if you would, and they're more they have more energy because they kind of have to in order to sell. So the way that I see it in that moment is that they're gonna act the same. They're gonna have the same character whenever they're selling towards anybody, because they're still trying to make that sale, but they will change their personality in a sense to adapt to whoever they're trying to sell to in order to get that sale, if that makes sense. And I think that you do that in a similar way whenever it comes to relationships, because essentially whenever you're talking about relationships, you're essentially trying to sell yourself to another person, whether it be an intimate relationship or a friendship or whatever. And I think that you're
you're putting your best foot forward.
Exactly.
Especially like let's say, for example, there is like an attractive girl, right? And you're gonna be on your feet. You're gonna be like witty. You're gonna be quick on your feet. You're gonna get straight to the point, and you're gonna be taking care of business in that sense. Like you're not gonna be, not brushing your teeth, or what I'm saying. You're not gonna be half-assing it. You're gonna be, because you find her attractive and you want her to find you attractive, right? And so of course, like she's already putting her best foot forward in the sense that she's taking care of herself. Her hair's looking good. She's got like her nails are done. Yeah, like she's tan. You know what I'm saying? Like she's in shape. That's her way of like selling herself to you in a sense, and your way of selling yourself to her is by like your demeanor. Like, are you able to like set up this date? Are you able to be like straightforward, right? Yeah. Hit her up, be like, okay, this is what we're gonna do at this time. I'll come pick you up, and all you gotta do is just look good and have a good time. Yeah. That's like, for her, that would be attractive, because that's not. She can just relax, right, and then follow your lead. Yeah. So in that sense, like that's you putting your best foot forward. Like, I know how to do these things. These are my skills. You bring your skills to the table, and then we'll go out and have like a good time.
I think the problem comes about whenever there's a lack of emotional intelligence as well, because people aren't able to know. And like I said, I may be completely wrong on like whenever I said the character and the personality, because that may be just me being ignorant to and having a lack of terms, because I may not I may not even know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Sometimes maybe you'll have like
the exact words,
idea, but like the vocabulary isn't there to.
I know, I fucking hate that shit. That's why I try to be as literate as possible so I know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I hate it whenever I'm trying to fucking give an idea out here, and I'm trying to think in real time, and I can't piece my fucking thoughts together because I don't have the right words that comes along. But fuck it. I just try to say to say what the fuck I'm trying to say the best way that I'm trying to fucking say it. Do you fucking get it? You get what I'm trying to say? Anyways, I think that a lot of the problems that people have is whenever it comes to emotional intelligence and the lack thereof, because people don't understand certain social cues, so then they kind of don't know when to change up their personality, if you would. You know what I'm saying? Like I said,
sometimes that can just be somebody's
I think
default way of being. They might not even have even thought about being. You know what I'm saying? That's just how they are, and that's how they're always going to be.
And if I like I said, if I'm getting these fucking words right, which I may or may not be, you know, I don't have I'm 90% confident that I'm using the right fucking words. They're still at 10%. The personality and character thing as well. That goes back to that, because a lot of people will confuse either or. So whenever they're talking to somebody, I believe that your character is supposed to always be there.
Like
so
your character is your morals.
Yeah, you don't compromise, and your morals and values kind of make up your character, if you would. And then your personality is kind of like whenever you're eating steak, it's always going to be steak. But how it tastes is a little bit determined on whatever seasoning you put on it, right? And I think that your character and the person that you are and the character that you are is always going to be there. And then you can spice it up by putting the spices and seasonings. Yeah, and then your spices and seasonings is your persona and your character, and certain things like real? That. What do you mean? Which one's real?
Your character.
I think
your character wouldn't be your persona, but do you have which Carson is the real Carson?
Exactly.
Because honestly, if I'm talking to somebody, I don't want a persona.
Exactly, and that's what I'm trying to get to.
Because I feel like that's disingenuous.
Yeah, the persona isn't. See, this is why I'm talking about this, because, and the personality and persona are two different things as well. Because, if I'm talking to somebody else, I may change up my personality because I may be I'm just me being me. I'm just the type of character that I am. I have a high energy level. So whenever I'm talking to somebody, I'm going to have a higher energy level most of the time, unless I'm tired, you know what I'm saying? And usually, even if I am tired, I still have a higher energy level. But whenever I'm talking to somebody, I'm going to kind of switch up my personality, and I'm not going to put on a persona. I'm going to try to kind of switch up my personality to be more serious or less serious, depending on the person that I'm talking to and whichever way that they want to, and I kind of you can kind of tell on the podcast whenever I'm talking to somebody or whatever, and I kind of try to test the waters in the beginning. I especially if it's a brand new person, never talked to them before, we're kind of talking on the podcast, and I don't really know what kind of person that they are. And this is just in general. This is just how I am.
That's what the first time you meet somebody, you really don't know how they're going to be.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I kind of test the waters. I kind of throw different types of personalities out there at them. I have there's also
why do you do that though? Is there
to see how they are,
just how they react,
just to see how they'll react.
If their persona would match yours, and you think that would result in a better content for the viewers.
It would, yeah, and not even that, and just to make the other person more comfortable as well. And whenever I'm talking about personality too, this is why I think that I'm kind of getting these words, I don't think that I'm very accurate with these words, because there's borderline personality disorder, and then there's bipolar people that have different personalities. No, I'm not that at all. I'm just saying that I will adapt the way that I'm thinking and the way that I'm.
You trying to match like their energy level?
Exactly.
That's like a slang term for like an
energy level. Yeah,
the vibes.
I don't think that. Yeah, I kind of don't think that personality is the same. Is like the same thing. But I think I think I'm kind of right with it. But like whenever I'm talking about personality, I'm talking about like how I act in front of that person, like a sort of etiquette, because like you said, energy level. Like if a person is more like
it's like
upbeat,
really high energy level.
Yeah, and Lyndon does this without thinking too. That's why he's good to be on the podcast because he will do it without like, he'll kind of mimic how, like, and I do it consciously. He does it more like subconsciously, if you would. He doesn't think about like what he's doing, and he doesn't need to think about what he's doing, because I think that's where some of the problem lays whenever we're talking about two people talking to one another. They kind of are very conscious about what the fuck they're talking about and how the interaction's going. So then they kind of slip up and think too much about. I know that I used to do this whenever I was dating a lot. I used to have a big problem with that in the beginning, so I had to like kind of fix it as I was going. And I would, because especially whenever you're with a girl, as a guy, whenever I'm with a girl, and whenever I'm with Sierra, like I'm acting the same. I'm the same way regardless. Mm-hmm. But it took me a while to figure out that's how I need to be all the time. I need to be the same way regardless. And depending on the conversation, because I don't need to have a high energy level talking to somebody that is at a lower energy level. Mm-hmm. If that kind of makes sense. And I'm, like I said, I'm not using the right fucking words, but
more mellow. There we go.
Yeah. Like I'm going to be a little bit more mellow. I'm not going to be as in their face because they just want to be chill and shit. And now I can be chill. Like I'll be chill with you if you're trying to just be chill, and like I will crack jokes and that's kind of understanding other people's humor as well. That's why I test the waters to understand the other person's humor. Like I would crack a joke and then like just to see if they'll laugh at it or just see if they'll vibe with it or whatever, And then if I crack a few jokes and then they're not laughing about it, then I'm just going to be more serious the whole fucking podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I feel
and that's me kind of just switching up my personality a little bit. And that's not... And I think that the problem comes in hand whenever people try to change their character. Whenever that's what I was coming to
one
here.
Thing maybe for people like say if their first time on here, maybe they're like a little bit nervous. Because you think about it, they're like, I'm gonna be in front of a bunch of people. Like this is gonna be out on YouTube or wherever it goes to, and it's going to be there forever.
Yeah.
Like I need to conduct myself like I'm not really going to be myself. I'm going to be, kind of like surface level me.
And see, that's where I said the lack of emotional intelligence gets in the way as well, because then they don't know within the conversation. They're not like whenever we're with Lyndon and I have a high energy level, he's gonna have a higher energy level because he's mimicking my personality and my energy, in that very moment.
Yeah.
But he's not compromising. Yeah. He's not compromising his character.
Yeah, no.
He's still him.
He's still him.
He's just matching the energy of the room, which is good. And a lot of people don't. And I'm aware of it consciously. I don't think that he's aware of it consciously. I'm aware of it consciously because it took me a while to get there, because I had to learn a lot of that shit. I had to learn a lot of emotional intelligence in order to be able to get to that level where I am able to do that and do it consciously and not be able to compromise my character. And I think that's where the problem comes in hand. Like whenever I said I was in the beginning of me dating and I was pretty unsuccessful in the very beginning, and then I started to gain more and more success with it. That is because in the beginning I was confusing the energy levels with my character. So then whenever...
Energy levels with your character.
Like as in like personality, if you would. Like,
so like, say for example, there's an attractive girl.
Yeah.
you wouldn't be yourself.
Exactly. I would act different.
You would act in the way that you thought you needed to get her to like you.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. And I think,
yeah.
And people do it on the podcast too, because then like they'll be a whole different person than whenever they're getting on the podcast. They'll kind of compromise their character to
compromise character, like as in
they'll be a different version of themselves. Ooh. There'll be a complete, like, I'm still the same version of myself regardless who I'm talking to. And it took me a while to get there because I have a certain amount of emotional intelligence to where I know that I don't need to compromise my character. And I'm conscious of that. Whenever people do it, they're not conscious of it, or they wouldn't do it. Or they are conscious of it, that's why they do it. If that makes sense. They're too conscious of it. You know, they're way too aware of it. That's why I also say that, you know,
maybe they're putting a guard up because they don't know what to expect.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that I stopped smoking weed, is because it makes you very conscious of everything around you, and me personally, because it affects people differently, and it makes me very aware, and it makes me too aware of the shit going on. So then whenever somebody's talking to me and shit, I'm way too focused on how I'm interacting with that person to actually be myself. That's how I compromise my character, because I'm way too aware, and I'm putting on a persona. Like you said, I'm putting on a mask to mask my real self, and the mask that I'm putting on is what I believe I should be acting like, instead of how I act like in general. You know what I'm saying? And then the thing is that women most of the time have a higher emotional intelligence than men.
Yeah.
Only because they start out at a younger age. They start out as toddlers understanding emotional intelligence better than men do. And they start to recognize emotions in their brain. They start to recognize emotions and facial features and just emotions in general before guys do. Guys will start to learn it in their late teens and whenever their brain becomes fully developed, which is fucking crazy to think about. And
I think it don't develop until 25.
Yeah, unless they learn it beforehand. Like I said, I took a lot of time to learn a lot of the emotional intelligence. So I figured out how women thought before a lot of men did. And I'm still aware of it. Like if we have this conversation with a bunch of different other guys, they don't some of them will kind of keep up, but they're not able to.
That's probably based off of experience.
Exactly. And then other people, they're like, I just don't want to have this fucking conversation, because they can't. They actually can't keep up with the conversation.
Yeah, they don't want to be a part of a conversation they don't even understand. It'd be like, like if you start talking about sports, I'm not really going to contribute anything to it.
I'm not either.
You know, I'm not sitting
because I'm not educated in sports
and watching sports and educating myself on it.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
just
like not my forte.
Yeah, like guys will talk about sports on here or whatever, and I'm just like, like sitting over here in silence.
A specific player doing this or that.
Yeah, that goes.
And it's just not. I just don't know nothing about it.
Yeah, but. That's why I decided. That's why there's certain things that I like to learn other than others, because a lot of people will read books. Like my mom will read a lot of books. She'll read a lot of. She's very literate, and she's read a bunch of different books, but she don't read nonfiction books. She only reads like fantasy books or whatever. And so she is very literate, and she's able to have a good conversation with me. And we've had like debates back and forth on certain shit.
That's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's why I'm pretty decent at debating people, because of my mom, really.
Do you like debating people?
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Especially if I know if I'm right.
So it's yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You get to show them how right you are.
Exactly. Like, and it can be a bit of an ego thing to it too. And
ego stroke situation.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and that's how I know I'm not a complete fucking narcissist, because I'm able to be conscious of when my ego is being stroked, and you know, and I know that I'm not going to get to the point where I'm going to be completely fucking arrogant, you know.
Narcissists don't really win in the long term anyway.
They don't. They really don't.
Because they alienate them. That's what that book talked about.
Yeah.
They alienate themselves from everybody.
And they're completely concerned about themselves. They're too concerned about themselves.
They lack hospitality.
Exactly. They're too.
You see a lot of people that like do well. It's because they had hospitality and they had no shortness of kindness. Exactly.
That's why it's hard for people to completely say that Trump is a narcissist, because a lot of the relationships around him have been solid relationships from the beginning. It's only whenever they started crumbling apart is whenever he started to have political views and be more vocal with his political views that didn't align with his friends' political views. So then I think that's whenever some of his relationships started to kind of fall off.
Yeah.
But the people that are loyal to him are loyal to him.
Yeah, it's hard to
and it's hard to have people
judge him without. I'd feel like you'd almost have to know him on a personal level to be able to make that assertion of if he is truly this or not, because you know all you're really getting to see of him is what other people post about him.
Most definitely too. That is a good point too.
It's hard to say what. There's a good chance of what's being shown to you has been altered in some sort of way to the benefit of the one that was altering it.
And that is also a part of it as well too. Whenever you're talking about politics too, because people will vouch for that person. That people will vouch for that person based off of how they view that person. And I think that the real answer to what kind of person that person specifically is coming from the people that have been around him for, or not just him, not just Trump, but I'm talking about just people in general, politics in general, have been around that person for a long time, and then there's other people who have been around that person for a long time, and then they're able to vouch for that person on a long-term level. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that you really know how a person is until, like it talks about in 3% Man, a person's only able to disguise who they truly are for so long. You know? It says 6 months, but I mean, that's pushing it. Yeah, that's just a number. You have to be really conscious of that to be able to wake up every day and put on a persona. Oh man, shit! Yeah, bro, all the fucking time.
They even do for a week.
Yeah, that's why these streamers out here that are so successful, it's because they're genuine.
Yeah,
it's because that they're genuine, because they can't go hours and hours and hours, and they can't film themselves hours and hours on end and days on end and be completely fake. And be a completely fake version of themselves.
Such an energy drain. So, like,
for sure,
I know there's a lot of people that would look at that like a high energy streamer and be like, "Oh, in order to be successful in this arena, I need to have that type of persona, right?"
Yeah.
And so they go into it, and then they start doing it, right? And they burn themselves out because the whole entire thing that they're doing is an act.
Yeah.
It isn't even. It's not even them.
Exactly.
It would be much better to go into it with the idea of I'm just going to be me, myself.
Exactly. Me, myself, and I.
And there is 8 billion people.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna fuck with it.
Exactly.
Even if it ain't like 100 million people. Like that one guy. PewDiePie, where he has like 110 million subscribers. Then you got another guy like Mr. B. He's got like 200 some million.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be huge numbers like that. It can just be 100,000 or 1 million.
And consistency really is key whenever people talk about consistency too, because I know that's like a overused term. Consistency is key.
Discipline, but it's so important.
Yeah, and really all that is just be disciplined in order to do it all the fucking time.
Yeah, and like some people, this goes back to YouTube, but like people will subscribe to a channel, and if they figure out when something's supposed to be scheduled to come out,
Yeah.
they'll make it, if they keep watching it and they'll keep coming back, they'll eventually make that like part of their schedule to keep up with it.
Yeah. It's Sierra.
Okay.
Oh,
fuck. You about ready to wrap this up here soon? Because I didn't know it was 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
I gotta
bro.
go to the gym here in a little bit.
I just had one more thing that I had to fucking say. God dang it.
Bro.
No, it's gonna piss me off if we end this shit and I don't. God damn it! Why the fuck does she call me like this?
Where she just keeps blowing it up.
Yeah, if I don't fucking answer the first time, I'm not gonna answer the next 20 billion fucking times. Oh, what I was saying is like consistency is key.
She's definitely being consistent.
Oh yeah, god damn it. But anyways, there's been people that have started some shit that has been like, hey, we're gonna do this all the fucking time. All the fucking time.
I'll
just to talk shit. Just to talk and shit. That's why I just bullshit around with people now. But I remember whenever people are doing something, they say that they're going to do something big. And then they're going to be like, hey, bro, we're going to do this and that. We're going to do this and that and that and this and this and that. And we're like, fuck yeah, hell yeah. You know what? I'm here and I'm going to support you through all of it. You just fucking do whatever the hell that you need to do. Like there was, for example, there's this one person or a couple people that say, hey, I'm going to do that I knew. And they say, hey, we're going to do this podcast. They was starting a podcast or whatever. There was like, hey, it's just me and this other person. And we're going to sit here and we're going to podcast and we're going to release it 2 or 3 times a week. And on this day and this day. And I'm like, hell yeah. I hit them up personally. And I was like, you know what, bro? I fuck with this heavy big time. And you know what? I'm going to watch every single episode and I'm going to be here and I'm going to subscribe, like, everything. Mm-hmm. And then they start doing it. 3 episodes later, they don't do another fucking one after that.
They don't do anymore?
They don't do anymore. They haven't did it in years. And they said they was going to do it forever.
In years? So this must have been something that happened a long time ago.
Brother, this is something that happened a long time ago. Yes, sir. This is something that happened a long ass time ago. This was happened like fucking 5 years ago, maybe. Maybe 5, probably not even 5 years ago. It's 2018, maybe 2019 they started it.
That is 5 years ago now.
Oh, yeah. It's 2024 now. Holy fuck. Yeah, 2019 they started this shit. And 2019 they started this shit and then they didn't do it anymore after I said that I would support them over and over and over again.
I didn't even know about that. I didn't know that there was people doing the podcast thing.
I know. Hey, they support us though. We do fuck with you 110%. We do actually fuck with you. I don't know who you are,
but you chill.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say who you are, but we do fuck with you because you support us. And I supported you. Seth didn't know you, but I supported you. And I'll still support you. But just come
try
on.
And get them on here.
Come on with the fucking consistency thing, man. I already have, brother.
Have they been on?
And they was on some capping shit.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah, that shows your fucking consistency there. Where's your discipline, bro? Hey, but
Speaking of discipline.
Let's fucking wrap this the fuck up.
I'm going to go take some creatine and some coffee.
And we're going to go fucking choke our chickens after this.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Look at those energy levels.
Next time you come to this fucking podcast, you better have your ass ready. And you better have your fucking helmet on because it's going to be a rough one. And you better fucking get your shit disciplined.
Get your shit disciplined.
Figure it the fuck out.
For real.
Before we cuss you the fuck out.